So let's move on to the next topic. The next topic is going to be Julius Randle. And Foxy, what do we do with the guy, man? He's giving us thumbs downs and then going out and really not giving us anything to cheer about. If you look at some of his stats throughout the season, he's got a career low in field goal percentage if you don't include the injured rookie season. His three-point shooting has dropped from 41% last season to 31% this season. That's 10 percentage points. He said shooting is third worst 2-point percentage shooting behind both the injured rookie season and also the year he returned from that injury. So right now, I think Julius Randle's value is depressed. So if we were going to ship Julius Randle out of here, do you think we'd be able to get a decent return? Or will we have to add, picks, maybe a young player in order to make a move?
I think it depends on who we're going for, but probably we're going to have to send a player whose value is depressed to get a player back whose value is depressed. So we're talking about De'Aaron Fox, and he's been having a funky little season. His shooting from three and his shot selection and his foul shooting and just everything. So, sometimes when you want to get rid of a problem, you got to take on another problem and hope that you can solve that problem more than the problem that you're shipping out.
Yeah, and that's the problem. That's the issue.
Boom.
Right? But it is a weird spot for us to be in because you just gave him that contract extension, and I've never seen a situation like this where it's been a complete 180. He was performing. He felt like he still wasn't necessarily at his peak. I felt like there was still some room for him to grow and improve, whether that be, turning the ball over and things like that. And now for this season to start and him to regress, I'm kind of shocked. In the offseason, I said I expected him to, maybe regress a little bit with the scoring because we brought in better offensive players and more talent to this team. But it's been the complete opposite. I mean, you've looked at how he's played throughout the season, month to month. In October, he started off, he was decent enough, 20 points. He was the only month he scored over 20 points. The only month he's averaged this year in which he scored or averaged a double-double. And he still had the 6.5 assists per game. So the first month, we saw some form of the Julius Randle that we saw last year. But then after that, it completely fell off a cliff. Look, the points have just dropped month after month. There was a little uptick in December, but the rebounds have dropped month after month. Assists are a little bit higher in January just because he has decided he wasn't going to shoot much in games and just keep passing the ball, which is cool if we're winning. But I mean, in certain games where the score is close and we need some offensive production, it's Julius Randle that we're looking towards in order to make a play happen. So
yeah, we didn't spend $126 million for you to just take 9 shots and not take a shot in the fourth quarter like the last
for
game.
You to be a decoy.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. So Foxy, do you think outside of De'Aaron Fox, what are some other players we could try to target if we were going to move on from a Julius Randle? Do you think we would try and go after a stretch big to take some minutes from Mitchell Robinson that can help us a little bit more offensively? Or do you think we try and target a point guard? You mentioned De'Aaron Fox, so we'll talk about some other point guards a little bit later, but who do you think would probably be a decent fit here with this team?
I don't know. For a change, Foxy's at a loss because I just don't know who would take. I'm trying to be realistic. I could, be like some other, and do some speculation that has no truth to it, but I don't know who would really take him on. So I know, like we said, Fox, there's some, Sacramento as an organization that there's some truth to that. Begley's reported on that and others, but I don't, who would want to take him? We can talk about stuff, but some of the other guys, we talked about Christian Wood, maybe a Christian Wood, Eric Gordon, but then you're like saying, we already got, we just talked about Grimes. Why do we want to bring a guy in like that? And Christian Wood, we talked about some of the issues, him refusing to go in. So it's, like we just said, like, wow, to get rid of a bad apple, we got to take a bad apple.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. Also, I think CP had also tweeted out and said that there's about 5 to 8 teams that have expressed some interest in Julius Randle. So Julius Randle becomes available for trade February 3rd. And I think if we find a reasonable deal, the Knicks should jump on it because I just don't know how Julius Randle turns this around. I don't think this is a issue with the way he's with his physical abilities. I just think it's all in his head. The the fractured relationship with him and the fans, and also sometimes I think him and his teammates. We've seen instances out there where we haven't seen positive signs or positive energy between him and, let's say, a Fournier, Obi, and things like that, or even RJ. You got RJ clapping at him like, give me the ball, I want to take the last shot. And then you see Julius Randle give it to him with about 3 or 4 seconds left when he can't do anything with it. So,
yeah, my dad was a wonderful dad, and he taught me a lot about loyalty. It was really important to him, and it's part of my DNA. And I don't understand. One thing, if you have an issue with the organization, you have an issue with fans, whatever it is, but you never have an issue with your teammates. You're in the foxhole with them. And so, like you just said, the example of, we have a saboteur in our midst. RJ is clapping his hands, and he gave it to him at the last second, so he couldn't do what he wanted to do, drive. He was cooking. So whether driving, scoring, driving and get a foul, driving and kicking out, he put him in a situation to take a long three. And then the fourth quarter, yes, you watch that game against the Bucks, and just the fourth quarter, all you need, his effort, play after play, was just atrocious. And then there was, maybe it'll turn out to be an iconic play of why we don't have Julius in the next week or so, is he didn't make an effort boxing out or anything. And then Obi went down. He turned his head, looked at Obi on the floor. Bab just shrugged his shoulders and walked away while RJ and Kemba ran over to help up Obi from the floor. Yo, you don't do that with your teammates. Smacking Fournier's hand when Fournier was trying to help him after yelling at the refs. Yo, thank you. So, folks, watch this. Watch his effort over here. Watch him turn around. He looks at him, just walks away, and the other guys go to help their teammate. I just can't. I can't deal with that, man. After, like we said, what he did to RJ, one thing after another. If you're going to do that with your teammates, like I said, you have issues with the fans, and fans could be assholes. I could understand that, but you never do that with your brothers. And it wasn't a coincidence. He looked over, looked at him, shrugged his shoulders, and said, "Hell with you," and walked away. You can't have a future with a player. It's not the only time. And there was also a thing in this game where at one point, I think it was RJ, I think it was also Kemba and maybe Burks. They ran over to him prior to a timeout where they were clapping at him. They were trying to, get him going. Like, it's cool, it's cool, it's cool. So the guys are trying to pep him up, and I think he's a lost cause, man. I think it's over. And whether it's weird. A year or so ago, 2 years ago, he had that season from hell, and then he said that he wanted to change everyone's opinion of him, and he had last season. He had the Atlanta playoffs, but he worked hard to change it, and then he does this again. So I thought he was mentally strong, but no, he's done. It's over. I don't think he could ever. I think, and I said this about a month ago on our show, like a fighter, that you can't teach him. The minute he gets touched on the chin, he's going to have that bad attitude, bad yelling at the refs. How many times is he not running up court? His screens, he just walks. He'll just walk and stop. And that's the definition of a screen for him at this point in time. That's not a good thing. And also, we're talking about Cam getting on the court because Tibbs says, you have to earn those minutes. What the hell? Are you serious, man? Are you blind? The Knicks fandom, the SV Nation, everybody is seeing this guy's lackadaisical play, but also, like I said, almost sabotaging our efforts. And you're not taking his ass out. So I'm like saying to myself, if he's not traded by February 10th, then you better either bench his ass, put him on the second team or whatever. But if you don't curtail that behavior and go with the youth movement, and you condone his body language and his actions, that's actions, walking away like that, if he wasn't called on the carpet for that stuff and said, you pull that shit one more time, I don't give a fuck. Excuse my French. I'm all lit up with this guy, that you won't see, and good, you get your salary, but watch what'll happen. But we can't take this shit anymore, Julius. Enough. And I don't understand his agents, his wife, his family getting into his head. You can't do that. Honey, you can't do that. One thing is getting upset, but you're destroying what you worked your whole life for. And what is this going to be, a Nick Anderson moment where he can never recover?
Seems like
So
it.
yeah,
Seems like it. Might need a new home elsewhere in order to get past this.
yeah, get the hell out of
Uh,
here, man. But
yeah, but
also, that's why I think from a roster, there's nobody on this team that'll get into his face, though. There should have been somebody in the locker room after that, after the game, or saying, "This is bullshit, man. This is bullshit. You pull
I mean,
that
because
crap again."
what vet can really go after him like that? You look at it, Fournier's new,
But
Kimber's
that's the
fairly
roster
new.
constructing. We got a guy, Solomon Hill, in the Atlanta trade. I think would have the gall, but Mace. We're growing up with guys like Mace and Oakley. That would never go down on our teams. You pull that crap, you're going to have somebody who's beating your ass at halftime or after the game. Like, you will not do that shit, man. And nobody on this team will step up and say, cut that crap out. That doesn't play here.
Yeah,
You
I
don't
hear
have
you
tough
on that one.
guys on this team.
Yeah, Anthony 212 says Rose is a silent leader. And we don't have too many vocal leaders on this team. I mean, RJ seems like he's starting to develop one. He's at least showing up to press conferences every game and not ducking the media. So it seems like he can start growing into one, which would be perfect for this team. But I don't want it all on RJ. You would like to have someone else to be an outlet, or a pressure release, someone else that can go and speak with the media along with RJ. So it's not only RJ that we're hearing from.
Yeah. Rose is a leader when he's on the court, but I've never seen a silent leader off the court. Either you open up your mouth and show that you're a leader, otherwise,
Well, some people lead by actions. I won't say
but that's what
you
I'm
have to
saying. Their
be.
actions on the court.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So we've got Vibe Shot saying hit that like button. It's currently got 296 people in chat. Let's see how many likes we got. And we're at 82 likes. So few of y'all do us a solid. Smash that like button. Let's see if we can get up over 100. I appreciate you guys tuning in here with us here on Sports Vibes TV Sunday night, especially when there's some playoff games being played. So the fact that you're here means a lot to both me and Foxy. So thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you so much.
Anyone you want to shout out, Foxy?
Let's see. Jonathan Ruiz, Lorenzo Gibbs, Green Lantern 123, D Nice 77, one of our favorites, Geraldine MacGyver. Yeah, president of I Can't Stand Tibbs, and I am the vice president. So, Geraldine, you're always number one in our book. Let's see. E. Lex Destroyer, one of the great mods in history. Yep. Kareem Grant, Trini 2DB 868, my friend, your friend, everyone's friend, Adele Chapman. Hope all is well with you and the family.
We've got a comment from Yves St. Ville saying Ben Simmons to New York. We're actually going to be talking about Ben Simmons later on in the show, and he could be heading to New York, but it might not be the Knicks. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. Make sure you guys stay tuned for that, for the Around the League segment.